What's up, reefing community? We're back. It's Chief Reef, and we're going to talk about every single thing I put on this reef tank, because a lot of common questions I get is, what lighting are you using, or what equipment do you have set up with, or what skimmer, or how are you running all this stuff on an all-in-one aquarium with no sump, or do I need a sump, or questions like that. And so I'm making this video for you guys. I want everybody to be able to have success reefing, and if you think that you like the way my tank looks, or you know, it's like I said, for me personally, it's been pretty successful for my hopes and dreams as a reefer, and I'd love to be able to share some of that with you. So I'm going to go over every single thing that I've put into this reef tank as far as equipment goes, so that way if you have questions or you're setting up a reef tank and you want to be able to figure out what's going to work best for you or emulate my process or the things I've used, I'm going to tell you every single thing I put on this reef tank. So let's get to it. The first thing I have on this reef tank is the AI Prime HD16 lights. I have 3 of these lights. These lights are awesome. They're pretty cheap when it comes to lights in other, I guess, in comparison to other lights on the forums and things for sale. I actually bought all of these lights for 300 bucks, including the arms. They were 100 bucks each. I bought them used off of local reefers. So check your Facebook marketplace, check local groups, check local stores if anybody's getting rid of. These are 3 AI HD 16 lights, all set to the same schedule by Aqua Illumination, and they are great. This is all I've used. It's all I've used in my previous tanks before this, and it's been great. The next thing I'm going to talk about is my rock. I have used live rock. I used live rock only. I got it from a reefer who was stepping out of the hobby. The reason being is because it starts off with good bacteria. It starts off with good stuff on the rock to help push along the cycle of the tank. And that way you can speed up your cycle. You have a healthier reef. Maybe there's some coralline algae on there that you can keep growing. And overall, it just benefits the reef that way. You can, now there are some drawbacks. You can start with live rock and get some pests. So you want to make sure you do a once over look and see what's on the rock. If you can see some pests, scrape them off. You know, there are pros and cons to the live rock, but that's what I started with. As far as sand, I started with Carib Sea sand. I believe it's just like their regular sand you can get at the pet store. It's the live sand. Nothing special. It's just Carib Sea live sand, and it's just your basic sand. As far as the power heads, I have AI Narrow 3s. I have 1 on each side. I chose these because they link up with the same app that I use for my lights, which is the AI Aqua Illumination app. I love it. My only gripe and my only problem with the AI Narrow 3s or Narrow 5s, if you need more power or more flow, you can get the Narrow 5s. The Narrow 3s are rated at 2K maximum flow per power head. I have them both running at maxed out 2K on each side, so it's 4,000 gallons of flow going on in this tank. You don't need to set it that high. I do, just because I'm trying to get this growth as fast as possible. I read an article saying more flow equals more growth. I figured I'd try it for a couple weeks, see how it works. But my only gripe with these power heads is that there is no battery backup. You cannot get a battery backup so far that I've gathered, or from looking up and talking to other people. They don't make a battery backup for these. So if you have a power outage, which today I had a power outage for 4 hours, maybe 5, 4 or 5 hours, and I was stuck to using an air stone, and basically that's it. I used a battery powered air stone. So if you have power outages regularly for long prolonged periods of time, maybe it would be best to look into something else. But if you don't, or you have a generator or other means to power your reef when there's an outage, the AI Narrow 3 or 5 is such a good power head for a small space and a small little powerful unit that doesn't look like an eyesore in the reef tank. the next piece of equipment that I have is the Aquamax 1.5 skimmer. This skimmer is rated to a lighter bioload for a 75 gallon, a medium bioload for like a 60 gallon, and I think a heavy bioload for a 40 gallon. This is a 50 gallon tank. I do not have a heavy bioload, but I figured I'd get it in the event that I put other fish in here, which I said in my last video I'm going to, or I want to put in other critters and they start upping the bioload. So this skimmer is awesome. It's the Aquamax 1.5 hang on the back skimmer. It is probably the best skimmer you can get for a small tank that you're not really looking to spend $400 or $500. This skimmer is like 230 bucks, 240, and it does the job. I will say it does create a lot of micro bubbles even after break-in. So like I said in my last video, I did order the $25 bubble trap adapter piece to see if it will cut back on that. There's a lot more than normal right now because I had to clean it because of some previous disasters in my tank. So hopefully in a couple weeks it'll be less than this, and then once I get that bubble trap in 2 days, hopefully that'll cut down the rest. So definitely pick up the bubble trap for 25 bucks. It's worth it. But this skimmer, it's awesome. It does everything you'd want it to do. It skims super thick, gross stuff. It takes all the bio nastiness out of your tank, so definitely pick that up. What tank is this? I guess I should go over that. This is the Innovative Marine 50 gallon AIO Lagoon. I bought it because I feel like I do not see videos on the internet about this tank. I don't know why. I don't know if people just don't care for its shape. I personally didn't think I would love the shape because it's really deep, but it's also wide. It's 29 inches wide and it's 24 inches deep. To be honest, I love it. It gives you a lot of space to aquascape deep and wide and get some good depth. Everything's not super narrow, and it also gives you a good platform to have good flow, but also set up lots of live rock, lots of coral, good size for average fish. It's right between a nano and a larger size tank, so you can really, it's really the best middle grade, middle of the line, but not too big and not too small. So Innovative Marine 50 Lagoon AIO, can't beat it. Same APS Nuvo stand. It comes with the tank. If you buy it, you can get them together, or you can just get the tank separate. So that's that. This does not have a sump underneath. I have inside here, excuse the mess, I need to clean this up, but I have a lot of stuff going on under here. I have the Innovative Marine Auto Top Off 15 gallon reservoir. That's to keep all my RODI water in there to make sure the tank is regularly filled up and not basically evaporating out and getting too high of a salinity content. I also have a Neptune dose reservoir. This is for my alkalinity and my calcium supplements that I dose regularly. I also have the dose heads, which I've showed before from Neptune. I have the Neptune Apex, and I also have the Neptune Trident. I've showed these before, and the reason I talk about them again is because if you want a successful reef and you want to be able to travel, or you want to be able to go out of town and not worry, or you want to go out of town and you want to check on your reef, or you want to know what's going on, these pieces of equipment are the cream of the crop. They're about as great as you can get for a hobbyist reef tank that isn't going to break the bank to the point of no return. They are very expensive, but they are in return great tools to promote best coral growth and to really push your reef along in stability and in terms of trying to promote coral growth through stability. As you can see through my previous videos through now, since I've added these pieces of equipment, corals have taken off in growth because I've really kept a stable tank for the most part. Except for my previous video, you see the overdosing mistake I made. Other than that, it's been pure bliss. It's super nice. So definitely get those pieces of equipment if you're worried about traveling, etc. The next piece of equipment we're going to talk about is my auto top off. If you have an auto top off and you are not sure, or you have a tank and you want to make sure it's being topped off, I have a Tunes osmolator. It's like the 3155 or whatever. You can look it up on Bulk Reef Supply or Saltwater Aquarium. It's the Tunes osmolator. It's great. It's got a little liquid level sensor, so with it like an eye level, so if it goes below that, it'll fill up. If it goes too high, there's a float that will ping an alarm if you want it to. If you have a smaller tank than this, you can probably get away with the Nano. I probably would have went that route had I known that was available when at the time. But I didn't. I just ordered what people had recommended, the Tunes osmolator, and it's worked great thus far. So it does exactly what I need it to do. I throw it in that reservoir and let it go, and I never really have to worry about it. The only things I will say is if you change your filter media and it lets more flow through the media because it's less clogged up. If you have filter floss, you will maybe have your alarm go off because it will cause more flow through the floss because it's less clogged. So it may raise your water level a little more in your chambers in the back if you do have an AIO tank, which could trigger the float to fly up there and set off the alarm. Simple mistake, simple fix, doesn't require any money, just requires you to pull the magnet up a little bit, and over a course of time, your filter floss will level out, clog up a little bit, it'll be fine. It's happened a couple times, not to flaw the equipment, it's just a little something that happens. No flaws in the equipment, just simple part of reefing, you know. The next part that I'm going to talk about is how I clean my tank, clean the glass. I use this magnet scrape. It's the MagnaFloat glass scraper. I use one of those on the parts, you know, if I'm not really trying to dig in and do some serious cleaning. The next piece that I use is I have a Tunes, basically a Tunes glass scraper. Just pull it out here. It's this guy. This is like plastic here and plastic here. This is the large. I didn't know how large it was going to be. It's a little larger for my tank than necessary, but it's super powerful, super strong magnets. It's made out of foam, so it floats. It's the Tunes Care Magnet. I couldn't think of the name, but it's great. I like it. It doesn't scratch the glass. That's my only worry about the MagFloat is if it gets sand in between the two, it will scratch the glass. This will not, so closer to the sand, I use this. Regular glass, I just, in the middle sections, I just use that. Moving on, the next piece of equipment is my UV sterilizer. I use this UV sterilizer 24/7. The reason for that is because I hate algae. I hate parasites. I like crystal clear water. I like everything to be as nice as possible. And a UV sterilizer is one of those things that I never had before this tank, and I wish I had it prior. This has made my water clarity clearer. I run it on the fastest setting possible so the pump moves more water, and what that does is that kills the algae. If I had a parasite problem, I could run it back on the lowest setting to slow the flow across the UV bulb to kill parasites. But at the fastest setting, it flows more water through, it kills algae bloom in the water, and basically make this water crystal clear. Another big contribution to why I don't have a lot of algae in this tank. The next piece of equipment would be my Mighty Jet pump. It comes with the tank when you buy it. It's got a little controller on the side. I love it. It's really simple. You set it up and forget it. You can double click it if you want to feed, etc. Everything is peachy with that. I've had no problems. My heater, I have one heater. It's probably risking it. I really wanted to get actually, which I don't have it yet. I want to get it. I don't know if they're going out of business, but Cobalt Aquatics has these very flat neotherm heaters. Awesome heater. I had it in my previous tanks, which were smaller than this, and one larger than this. Bigger tanks and smaller tanks than this, and they both worked great. The only reason I don't have it in this tank is because I could not find one. They were all out of stock, and I looked on their website and they're out of stock, and I'm just not sure if they're going out of business or what. I'm going to have to look again, but Cobalt neotherm heaters are great. I'm going to switch to that. What I have right now is just a standard Aquatop 200 watt heater from any pet store. It's lifetime guarantee, so if it does break, I'll send it out. I have a backup IM heater in my closet. So I have other options. I just have it in the tank. I'm not really worried about it. It functions, it works, whatever. I don't have a heater controller. I could plug it into my Apex power unit. I haven't. It's not really that important to me. I'm pretty close to my reef at all times. I regularly clean and maintenance my tanks, so I'm not really worried about the heater going out, and I probably will be replacing my heater every year or so until I get that cobalt heater, which should be soon, so that probably won't have to happen. As far as equipment goes, I do have behind me over here, I'm starting to set up a CO2 scrubber. I have it mounted to the wall. I don't have any media filled up into it yet, but I probably will attach that to the Venturi or the little air silencer on the Aquamax skimmer, maybe. I had a big problem with my alkalinity and calcium dosed too much in the last video. I talked about that, so I'm still leveling out my alkalinity and calcium before I set up the scrubber, because CO2 scrubbers are awesome. They definitely raise the pH and they keep it more level, and they basically give you a little boost. And higher pH between 8.0 and 8.3, even 8.4, you'll see a lot more coral growth. Now my pH trickles from 7.9 to 8.2, so I'm thinking if I try this scrubber and it boosts me and I never drop below 8.0 and I stick between 8.3 and 8.4, hopefully I can see more coral growth, because around that pH you'll see a lot of explosive coral growth. The only reason I haven't set it up yet is because, like I said, I still have a chemical imbalance with my alkalinity and calcium. I'm trying to get those levels up right now. They should be up in a couple days, and I should be able to fully set it up and see how it goes. Once you use the CO2 scrubber, your corals are going to be super happy and healthy. They'll start to consume more of those levels, so I'll have to bump my dosage up in alkalinity and calcium a little more. And I don't want to set that up and see that usage basically raise while I'm still not sure if my dosage currently is keeping it stable. So I'm trying to stabilize those before I have to up any dosage to add to the confusion. So there's that. I do have a frag rack over there. It's a standard eShops, or however you pronounce it, frag rack. It's pretty sweet, looks great under the lights, the blue lights. It's a sweet frag rack. I put it on the back wall. I had it on the side, but it was just really annoying to clean the algae off around it, so on the back wall it goes. But if there's anything else that you guys see in this tank, or you have any questions, I'm making this video for you guys. I want you to be able to have the success I've had, or replicate some of the success I've had. So if there's anything else you guys have questions on, or you see anything in the tank and you have questions about, please comment. Let me know. Reach out on Instagram. Reach out on YouTube. Just let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you see. If you have any recommendations for my tank that you've seen thus far, let me know, and I will gladly go over it, buy it, check it out, try it. I'll throw it in this tank and see how it does. But yeah, I'm making this video for you guys, and hopefully you found some knowledge and enjoyment out of this. And thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for the next video.